Hello and welcome back to my channel. I am Tiff from Journaling with Tiff, and I've missed you guys. I have been on hiatus, yes, but hopefully life is calming down and I'm back. So let's see. Last month, actually month before last, gosh, it has been a while. I did my August currently inked, and what I did, I honestly didn't even really take the time to switch inks and pen combinations for the month of September. So what I used for August kind of carried over into September. So I kind of just tacked that on there, and now I'm going to do the review for the month. So let's get started. So I did come up with a slightly different setup back in August. So this is actually my currently inked page, and I did my ink swatches and just basically put the name of the pen and the corresponding ink. And then at the end of the month, or in this case, the next 2 months, I took each pen and wrote my thoughts for each that we'll be going over today. The first pen was the Twisp Diamond 580. This is in a fine nib, and I have it inked with Pilot Iroshizuku Yamabudo. I love this ink and pen pairing. It was so well. I will admit, I did not reach for it as much as I thought I would, partly because probably of the ink color. That's not to say that I don't enjoy this color. I adore this color. And it's one of the few fuchsia type colors that I will reach for. But I don't know, for some reason I didn't reach for it as much. But the pairing was phenomenal. It's a Twisp #1. So the inkwell is just insane. I knew that I would not be able to get through it. It was not completely full to start with. And it looks like, gosh, it looks like I didn't even put a dent in it, but I did utilize this pen, and it's an Iroshizuku ink. So it's like, what can I say about that? It has, it's just the perfect ink to me. I love that ink line. I hear that there are like 2 new inks coming. I'm not exactly sure what they are and when that will be. Again, that's just kind of what I heard. But this ink is just perfection. There's nothing I can say bad about any Iroshizuku ink. And I found that I really enjoy writing with Twisp. Again, this is in a fine nib. Normally, I'm an extra fine type of girl, but this writes perfectly for me. I do not have a problem with it. As much as I love my finer nibs, the only reason I wish I could utilize a wider nib is so that I could appreciate the ink a little bit better in my writing. For this particular ink, there is like a greenish gold sheen, if you can see that. And if I had a broader nib, it would just be just chef's kiss if I could appreciate that. But that's me with pretty much any of my pens, and excuse me, not my pens, but yeah, the pens, because of the smaller nib, that in writing I can't really appreciate the ink if it comes to sheen as much. But I'm okay with it, which is why I put color swatches as decor on my pages a lot. But yeah, this was a great pairing, and I absolutely would pair it again. Next is my Bone Crusher 7 Studio. This is in Periwinkle Agate. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Someone did correct me for how I said it previously, but I mean, that was a long time ago. I don't remember. This has an extra fine nib, and it is inked with Pilot Iroshizuku Tsukiyo. And another beautiful pairing. I'm not a blue girl. I don't normally like blue inks. I'm not big on blue pens, But when I saw this on the first sale, I was just enamored because of the mixture. I mean, who would have thought that blue and brown with the bronze shimmer? Oh my goodness. It's just gorgeous. And this has literally become one of my favorite pen brands simply because of the size and the comfort level, the grip section, the threads here. Don't feel them at all. It's almost like they're flat. Don't feel them at all. And it just wrote beautifully. So I did not have any problems with this pairing. The only reason I didn't reach for it as much as I would have liked to is because it's a blue ink. Now, if I'm going to do a blue ink, this would be it. This is one of my favorite go-to blue inks whenever I decide to use blue. Blue's not normally something that I reach for. So therefore I did have to kind of force myself to reach for it. But it's okay. I didn't have a problem with it. When I did write with it, it was a great experience. I didn't have a problem with it at all. So if you love blue inks, I mean, Tsukio is like a deep, rich blue. It has great shading and just no problems. I can't think of any issues other than I just don't reach for blue a whole lot. But other than that, 10 out of 10 pairing. Would absolutely pair it again. Next is my Lami 2000 in the Black Amber. This is an extra fine. It is inked with Sailor Kitsune Biori. I'm so glad I got this pen. I'm not sure if you guys can tell. Let's see. This is not stainless steel. This is a stainless steel pen, but this is silver. And the normal Lami, the regular stainless steel, you can just tell the difference in the color. I know this is not brushed. It's a shiny silver color. But compared now, you can more appreciate the finish. It's a brushed, kind of an antique finish, which gives it just more warmth when you look at it, just the colorway of it. So that's why I really wanted one of these. And I'm so glad I found this pen. Now, the difference between this and let me see if I can find my other Lami. My black Lami. The black Lami is definitely, is the weight. It's so light. I mean, it's plastic. And the Black Amber is stainless steel. So when I use my black Lami, I normally post it and it's super comfortable. It is super light. However, this pen has enough weight to it that I cannot post it. It makes it super back weighted and uncomfortable for me. But other than that, I've been so shocked by both of them as far as the writing experience. I'm going to be honest, I thought they were just like super plain. What's the big deal? I don't get it. But this extra fine nib kind of writes like an architect. Not sure if anyone has that same feeling, but I've had no complaints with this pen whatsoever. And the pairing with the Sailor Kitsune Biori was just chef's kiss. The colorway, look at them. Just look. I mean, let's just appreciate. I just love it. So, yeah, the Black Amber is just stunning. It's comfortable to hold. The comfort level was just really nice. Again, without posting it. When I posted, it just felt heavy to me. So, yeah. And this ink was perfect. It wasn't too wet. It wasn't too dry. And yeah, no problems at all. 100% I would pair this pen and ink again. Visconti Homo Sapien Bronze Age in an extra fine, and it is inked with Ferris Wheel Press Writing Desk. I'm so glad I took the leap and I purchased this Visconti. I'd been wanting one. I didn't. This is, I bought this secondhand. Gosh, I'm getting ink everywhere. I got this secondhand. But gosh, it makes me want, I definitely want to get the Dark Age now. Granted, it's the exact same pen other than the trimmings. But it writes beautifully. Now, I will admit that sometimes as I'm writing, my fingers tend to just kind of creep up on this part because this is a shorter grip section than say some of my other pens. So I just have to be mindful that I'm gripping down here, because if my fingers were to get on the locking mechanism, that's a little irritating. But so long as I keep my fingers here, I love it. I love it. And the feel of the body of this pen, the lava mixed with, I don't know if it's resin, or I think it's plastic that is mixed in with it. It is just like satin. It just feels so good. It has a really nice ink capacity. And let's just say, Ferris wheel press inks have a tendency, in my opinion, for being quite dry. However, writing desk is like my favorite. And if you can get your hands on a writing desk, and if you like a brown ink, you definitely need to grab it. The shading is beautiful. It was super smooth. It wasn't dry. Love, love, love. And if you can look at the sheen, it's just a little green. There we go. A lovely green sheen on that brown. 10 out of 10 will absolutely. I kept reaching for this over the last 2 months. I could not get enough of it. As a matter of fact, I think I wrote it dry and then refilled it. That's how much I enjoyed this pen. Now I have the Leonardo Momento Zetto in the Golden Abalone. This is an extra fine nib, and it is inked with Colorverse Wancho. I enjoyed the writing experience. I think this is a beautiful pen, and I really love this ink color. The weird thing is, and I can't really put my finger on it, but I was underwhelmed by the combination. The pen is comfortable. The ink was great. The flow was great. I think that I think I should have chosen a bolder color for this ink. I feel like it just seems washed out to me whenever I would use it. So when I look at the page, just the aesthetic of this pen and ink pairing just didn't do it for me. There's a lot of things that I look for. I want to enjoy the pairing of the pen with the ink from the writing experience, but also just visually, aesthetically, if that makes sense. If it doesn't, I'm really sorry. I'm trying to make it make sense. So yeah, I would say that the pairing was great. Again, the comfort of the pen is great. The ink was not too dry. It wasn't too wet. I didn't have any flow issues. I really think it just kind of seemed washed out to me. I just wish I had chosen a more vibrant color to go along with this pen. Would I pair it again? I don't have a reason not to. So I don't want to say I wouldn't pair it again. Like, there are no characteristics of the ink that don't work with the pen. It's just the color. So that's why I probably would not pair this again, simply because of the colorway. And lastly, I have two pens inked with the same ink. Starting off with my first vintage pen is the Parker Parette. I call this green marble. I have no idea what the true name of it is. I got it at the Triangle Pen Show. I just wanted to try an antique, not antique, but a vintage pen. And this was, the dealer gave me such a great deal on this. And he was very adamant that he wanted me to experience it. He wanted me to try it. And I loved the look of it. The nib is appears to be a very generic nib. There's writing on it. I can't really read it, but I don't no, we could not figure out the size of the nib. And it does have an ink window, so I like that. It's a smaller pen, but I was able to post it the few times I wrote with it, and it was fairly comfortable. So even though it makes it a little long for me, it's just so light. Oh, and I didn't say what this was inked with. This is inked with Colorverse Brain. Now, I love me some Colorverse inks. I am on the Colorverse bandwagon now. However, in this particular pen, I don't think there is an ink that's going to make me want to write with this pen. I definitely need to get this nib ground to something finer, be it Cursive Smooth Italic, Architect, or just a basic extra fine. Because as you can see, it put down a buttload of ink, and it just did not please me at all. I also put the Colorverse Brain in my Pelikan M400 in White Tortoise. This has a custom grind by Kirk Spear. It is a needlepoint, but it is what he called a wet needlepoint, so it's not scratchy at all. Surprisingly, I don't know why I don't dislike the size of this pen, because it's definitely smaller than my normal comfort level. But surprisingly, I mean, I have yet to get to the point where I'm ready to get rid of it, because I'm writing. And again, it's not like I can't write with the slimmer pen. My preference is for a Pelikan would be like an M800. I have yet to try M1000. But gosh, I don't know. I think it's just so pretty. It's fairly comfortable for me. So I'm just not at a point where I'm ready to get rid of it just yet. Now, the M600 exists. I just can't afford it. If I could afford it, I absolutely would scoop it up. But anyway, I digress. The pairing of this pen with the Colorverse Brain was just chef's kiss. It was pristine. I loved it. No problems writing with this at all. And as far as the needlepoint goes, like I said, Kirk Spear said it is what he would consider a wet needlepoint. So it was still nice and juicy, and I thoroughly enjoyed this and would pair it again. So the Parette, I'm not going to pair it with anything until I can get this nib worked on. And the Pelikan M400, definitely I will pair this again. So no problems with that whatsoever. And that is my review for my currently inked pens from August and September. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Feel free to leave a comment down below. And please don't forget to like and consider subscribing. And I will hopefully talk to you guys next time. Bye.